Hey guys, I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. I'm back in Chiang Mai, as you guys can tell. My apartment behind me is different from where I normally film my videos, so I'm back in Thailand and I'm really excited. Hopefully I can keep on doing these videos with the same kind of intensity and passion that I was able to do before. I always worry about that for some reason. In this video, I want to speak to you guys about conversation starters for INFJs. It's actually surprising to me how many non-INFJs watch this video for tips on how to deal with their INFJs. It actually is, it's so gratifying to me. I feel so happy to see that because that means that these people obviously really care about their INFJs. And I want more of those kind of people who love their INFJs, who want to be around them and who want to take care of them. Because, I think that we're cool people and I think we're good and I think if we found someone that was good to us and took care of us, we would be really great in a relationship. I just don't like it when a lot of you guys message me saying, that you're lonely and you're alone and that makes me sad. And the more I can kind of create videos that can help non-INFJs be with INFJs, I think that would be brilliant. So one of the questions that a non-INFJ asked me recently was about conversation starters. And they asked me, I want to know what are some good conversation starters with INFJs. Now, the first thing that I would actually mention is that I don't know if you already know that they're an INFJ or not. I'm guessing that you do, and then you're starting a conversation. But the best way to find out, if they're INFJ or not is to ask them if they've done the MBTI. That's usually the first questions an INFJ will ask someone else, right? If we like someone or if we don't like someone or if we are trying to assess them or we're trying to figure out who they are or how they think or where their mind space is, the first thing I'll always do with any new individual in my life is I'll ask them about MBTI. Now, of course, I don't do that with Thai people necessarily because their English is not that great, obviously. Not all of them, but some of them, their English is not that great and a lot of them don't care about that stuff. So it's typically just with, I would say, Caucasians or with my own people or Canadians, just people in general who are, who speak English really well, who care about this stuff perhaps. And so I always ask this question, what is your MBTI type? Have you ever heard of 16 personalities? And if they haven't, then I'll make them do the test. And I've told you guys this before, that I always make people do the test. I guess I'm strong enough that they're like, okay, fine, I'll just do it. Or they are like nice people that they just do it. That's one of the first things an INFJ usually will love to speak about is their MBTI and your MBTI. So if you already know that they're an INFJ, then to bring up the MBTI system or to talk about the functions or to talk about the different aspects of it, introversion, extroversion, perceiving, judging, all that stuff, it's fascinating to us. We could talk about that stuff all day long. I actually do talk about it a lot, as you guys can tell. I've done hundreds of videos on it. That is one of the best ways to kind of open up an INFJ, not only because it'll teach them about you, right? So they'll learn about who you are, how you think, what your functions are, and it'll teach them a little bit about where you're coming from, but also because it'll teach you about them. They will start talking about, how a certain function is really ringing true for them, and they're really extroverted in this situation or introverted. They'll tell you a lot about themselves, and that'll open up conversations or doors on both sides. So I think that's one of the best ways to actually do it. I'm hoping that the reason why you're asking about conversation starters with INFJs is because you already know that they are an INFJ, right? And so that's how this conversation is going to go. You're like, oh, you're an INFJ. Oh, I've read this about it, or I read about it, this about that. And that's the best way to start a conversation with them. Another thing, and this is going to sound really odd, but another thing that INFJs love talking about is death and the impermanence of our bodies and our spirits. Or this time that we have on this planet. It's really odd from the outside in, but as an INFJ, I absolutely love talking about death. And I know a lot of INFJs, I've spoken to a bunch of them, and they love talking about death too. So I'm not saying it just because I like talking about it. I've spoken to a bunch of people who are INFJs, and all of us just love speaking about the fact that we're only here for a limited time on this planet. Extremely limited in the sense that you don't even know that's going to end soon, and it does, and you're like, whoa, it's already ending. Wow, what the hell? And so we love talking about this stuff. I can already start getting I can already start feeling myself getting excited about this topic. I love talking about it. It's just so interesting to me because most people live as if they're going to live forever, and we live as if we're going to die tomorrow. And that's really, really crucial, that difference between us and the rest of the world. That's how we live our life. You know, we pretend like we're going to die tomorrow. I've set up all of my affairs, and I've made sure that everyone knows, you know, where my will is. And I'm only 35, and I created my will when I was 21. And everyone knows how I want my stuff distributed. I've made sure that all of my stuff is taken care of so that my parents don't have to worry about it if I die tomorrow. Also, I travel a lot, you know, and I'm in this strange country, and people drive crazy here. So, you know, I'm careful that way as well. I have insurance, like travel insurance, life insurance, and all that stuff. But for me, my main thing is to make sure that I don't leave anything behind for my parents to take care of. You know, I set up all my affairs so they can rest easy. They don't have to worry about the fact that I've died, and also the fact that I have a lot of affairs that they need to take care of. So this kind of stuff, you know, we think about this stuff. I mean, I think about it all the time. I want to make sure that no one is pained when I'm gone. So, you know, I try to have good relationships with everyone and make sure that if I have door slammed someone, that I'm trying now to undoor slam them, or to apologize to them, or to explain to them why I'm so weird and things like that. So death is actually one of those topics, death and related to all of those things about, you know, time, impermanence, a lot of Buddhism topics are related to that, and suffering and all that stuff. All of that is really, really, really fascinating to an INFJ. We could talk about that stuff all day. In fact, I do talk about it all day. Another thing that I think is a great conversation starter for an INFJ is the fact that, you know, they don't like being unique. They don't like being abnormal. They don't like being different, but they are. And so the more you can kind of convince them, or the more that you can kind of talk to them about the fact that they are unique and they are beautiful, but it doesn't matter if they're unique or abnormal. They're not weird in any way. They're not crazy in any way. If you can talk to them about the beauty of their gifts and the beauty of their shadows and all that stuff, that I think is a big one as well for us. Whenever someone kind of talks to me about that stuff, about the fact that, you know, they like my quirks, they like my weirdities, my oddities, they like my strangeness, they think that's one of my powers, my superpowers, they think that that's one of my beauties, I really, really love that person a lot. And that happens very rarely, but it does happen. And when it does happen, I feel so grateful for that person and for that conversation, because it really is one of those things that we're always looking for as an INFJ. We're looking for acknowledgement that even though we're crazy, we're still loved by the world. We're still all right, and we're not hated by society for being different. Right? So these are a few things that you guys could use as conversation starters for INFJs. We love books. We love our obsessions. And so every INFJ you meet will have a weird, quirky obsession that they don't usually talk about with other people. But we are obsessed with it, and we love it, and we could talk about it forever and ever and ever. One of my, obviously, obsessions right now is INFJ stuff, MBTI stuff, but also my creativity. A lot of my writing is my obsession right now. So I spend all of my time, as much as possible, talking about writing. Even my parents, I'm always saying, oh, I need to write this, I'm going to write that, I want to do this, I want to become a writer, all about writing. And so when people talk to me about my writing, I'm like, whoa, really? You want to talk about my writing, or talk about writing in general? Let's do it. Let's talk about this stuff. Another one of my obsessions, as you guys might be able to tell from my videos, is animes. I have gone completely obsessed with animes in the recent past. Is that right? I think I've been obsessed with them for about a year and a half, 2 years now. And so I've been like really immersing myself in them, and I've been learning all the terms, you know, all the different things that are happening. They have a completely different language in anime, and they use a lot of different syntaxes that you might not know in the real world, if you want to call it. And so I've been learning it, I've been obsessed with it, and also obsessed with learning Japanese. So, you know, these are some weird quirks that if you walk around the real world, maybe it won't be as apparent that, you know, these are normal obsessions. I don't know what people are obsessed with normally. Reality TV shows, politics maybe, Trump. I feel like a lot of people are obsessed with Trump, and I cannot stand him, and I can't talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it because it's politics. But that's something that you can talk to your INFJ about as well. Their obsessions. Bring it up. Because for an INFJ, we know our obsessions are quirky and weird and odd. And we feel weird that we are obsessed with these things, and we wonder if that's one of our odd things that people are going to hate us for or ostracize us for. And so we really never bring our obsessions up with people because we're afraid of it. You know, we're afraid of the reaction that people are going to give to us. When I tell people I'm learning Japanese, they're like, why? You know, why are you bothering with that language? Or why are you obsessed with animes? Are you still a kid? Why are you watching cartoons? Blah, 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 right? And so instead of sharing that, the beauty of anime with them and telling them all about how amazing it is and how I love it so much, and then being shot down, I just pretend like I don't have any obsessions, and I just pretend like I have nothing to say, right? I'm just quiet. But your INFJ, whoever you're with, will probably absolutely has an obsession of some sort. I don't know what it is. It might be something really obscure, it might be something really weird, it might be something really normal, but they probably have some kind of obsession. Music is one of our obsessions too. Every INFJ has an obsession with music, almost everyone actually. And so if you bring up that obsession with your INFJ and talk to them about it, and have a conversation with them about it, I'm sure they'd appreciate it a lot, and they would really like it, because then that means that we get to talk about our obsessions, and that's one of our main things in life. We just want to find someone that we could sit down with under the stars and just talk about our obsessions and quantum physics and spirituality and death and MBTI for the rest of our life. That's all we want. Very simple if you think about it. Yeah, I hope this makes sense. I think those are the main things that I would say that you can start a conversation with us about. I'm pretty sure that should be really good. Once you get started with all this stuff, then you learn more about your INFJ, and then you can go from there. But these are really, really good conversation starters for us. It's the best way to get your INFJ to open up to you and start talking to you about stuff, and to tell you how do you feel, how do they feel about you, things like that, whatever you want. Again, if you guys have any questions at all, please message me anytime. My name is Shikha, and I welcome you to my channel. If you are new here, I really appreciate your support. And as always, I'm always looking for suggestions for future videos and feedback. So if you have any, please comment below, or you can message me directly by email. All my contact information is in the description below. I shall see you guys the next time around. Bye for now.